And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. You are listening to the Decision Hour with JD and Adam, along with our special guest, Mr. Brent Wehmeywer, has joined us today. But Adam, how's your day, buddy?
Hey, it's been a busy day, a productive day, and we'll leave it at that.
You know what I realized? This is the first time I've been able to shoot anything like live since I went ahead and I refurnished the office and I got, the
From your jail
black
cell.
desk and yeah, the black desk, the black chair, the black leather couch. And then I realized how hot as hell it is to sit here right now because I'm usually not in this spot at this time of day when the sun is directly right there. And these windows are like professionally tinted. You can't tell.
No,
So I'm just like, man, I'm losing, and I'm in my black shirt. I'm just not rolling with it today,
like
man.
a ray of sunshine coming through
Yeah,
you're
sweating to
like
the
angels
oldies
from
talking to
heaven
you.
are coming through and shining it down on you, JD.
Absolutely, man. And you just had a birthday, so happy birthday, bro.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Definitely turning good, ripe old 47.
Well,
Um, am I off?
by about 10 years, but that's all right.
Oh, 57. My bad.
That's-
Okay,
last time I checked, you were older than I was, but
I
hey,
am.
we'll get into that. That's fine.
I am older. But anyway, so welcome to the Decision Hour. We're happy to have everybody join us today. Again, we do have a very special guest, and he's definitely special to me because when it comes to being an entrepreneur and having the freedoms that I have, today and being able to reach out and teach other people like Adam and like the rest of Power Quantum Phoenix, I can trail it all the way back to Mr. Brent Wehmeywer, who I'll kind of talk a little bit in a second on how he got my information. But Brent, thank you so much for joining us today. Adam, you got him pulled up, or is he muted? He's muted.
I think he's muted.
This may be the first time he's ever used a computer before. Um, Go ahead and unmute yourself there, Brent, and still have you muted there, buddy.
He's working. You can tell he's taking a look at it.
Ah, there we go. Okay, so just a little story here on how well Brent's working out the technical details on how I came across Brent. I've been with you, Adam, for a while. Not with you, but working with as part of Bets on Media now for a little while. And as a sports director, I'm the one that kind of writes a lot of articles along with my team now. But it used to be just me. I'd have my little 15-minute spot on Bets On with Adam and James, and then I'd write an article for the page and throw it up there. So eventually, what I wanted to do, I wanted to start getting paid, for that. And basically, I went online and I said, make money writing articles. And I came across this Facebook link, this Facebook page that had a picture of a young man named David Wood in an AC/DC T-shirt, and this is what you call attraction marketing because I'm a huge AC/DC fan, and it turns out that it was an ad that Brent Wehmeywer was running to teach people how to actually make money by blogging and whatnot, and that's how I actually met the dude, and he came across extremely genuine to me. One of the biggest things that caught me, that caught my attention was, he actually called me. It was a real person on the other side of this link, as opposed to, pay $29.95 and then we'll never talk to you. This guy got on the phone and called me almost immediately, and at that point, we've been pretty good friends since, and he's been a real cool guy, and he's taught me a lot. So this is only our third or fourth show for the Decision Hour.
I believe it's the fourth show.
Fourth show for the Decision Hour. I wanted to have him on as soon as possible because I mean he means a lot to me, whether he knows it or not, and just the success that I've been able to have so far. So I was like, you know what, I got to have him on. So Brent, are you ready to come on?
I think I'm ready this time. Can you hear me now?
There you go, loud and clear,
I
buddy.
promise I've used a computer before, and I've used Google Hangout before. The culprit is actually, I don't know if you can see it, but this right here, that's the culprit
Toshiba.
there. So
Yeah,
I switched over to the Mac, and all is good.
yeah.
So
That's
I'll let
we're
you
all
make
running on
your
Macs. So,
conclusion there.
but Brent, again, thank you so much for coming on the show. I definitely wanted to have you on because, again, what you mean to me and what you've meant to my business, and the opportunities that I've had, it all goes back to you introducing me to a lot of things, teaching me a lot of things to become successful in the world of being an entrepreneur and being self-reliant. So again, I want to thank you now that I have you on the show. Just personally, thank you so much for everything you've done for me. So yeah, man. I mean, I love you, man.
I appreciate that. You know, you can't hear that stuff enough. That's one thing that's easy sometimes to lose sight of in the business that we run. You know, trying to create a lifestyle freedom business online. You know, we all have that goal of whether it's more money, more time, more some sort of freedom. It's easy to lose sight of the fact that we're helping people, and if you serve people and you help them enough, you're going to get what you want out of it. And so it's easy to lose sight of all of that in the day to day when you get caught up in like all the technical things of traffic and building websites and different income opportunities and all these different things that we can complicate things with. But at the end of the day, really, if you just reach out and help people, that's what's going to give you this freedom in this business that it can provide. Just simply helping. So I appreciate hearing that. It definitely makes it all worth it.
Absolutely, man, and it's definitely well deserved. So let's get into it a little bit. The show's called The Decision Hour, and this is your first time on the show. So basically, what we look at is we like to take people down the trip, down memory lane a little bit, and think about, what was going on in our lives that made us make that decision to want to basically be more self-reliant and become an entrepreneur. And you being married and to a successful, is she a doctor?
Physical therapist.
Physical therapist. Okay, still makes some pretty good income as a physical therapist. I know that for a fact because my ex is also a physical therapist. So with that in mind, man, why didn't you just kind of like sit back and be like, you know what, the wife's got it. I'm good. I don't really need to
That's
do
pretty
anything.
funny. That's funny. Well, along with the good income comes an expensive schooling that, undergrad and 3 years of grad school. So it's not cheap to get through that. And so it's a pretty good it's a pretty good opportunity that we had because I could build my business and pick up and move. When she got accepted to physical therapy grad school, we had to move to a new city, and I didn't have a job there that I had to stay behind at and let her go to a new city. I was able to move with her. So it came with the downfall of an expensive price tag, but I was able, because of this business, I was able to pick up and just move with her. And then after she graduated, we went back to our hometown for a little while just to kind of spend time with family and kind of regroup after she had been in a pretty intensive schooling situation for 3 years on top of all the undergrad before that. And she started looking for a job, and we had the choice to look in places where we wanted to live. And so, we looked around the area. She ended up finding a place to work here in Manhattan, Kansas, home of the K-State Wildcats. And so we moved up here, and we love it here. It's a small town, but it's got some of the factors that a big city would have in a small town kind of setting. So, anyways, because of this business, yeah, I've got an amazing wife who has worked really hard to get the degree she has that's letting her make a good income. But it's because of this business that we have the freedom to even like move around and take advantage of all that.
Outstanding. So let's go back a little ways to the point in your life where you actually decided and you said, you know what, I need to do something different, and I'm gonna go search online to find this different lifestyle. I mean, about how long ago was that decision?
It all started way back in the day. Now, when I was in high school, I had my own greenhouse. I raised plants. I'd sell them to local grocery stores, and I did lawn maintenance in the summer. So I always had a little bit of that entrepreneur bug in me from a young age. Kind of growing up on a farm, I was able to see the freedom that my dad had. He worked super hard as a farmer, but he had the freedom to kind of work when he wanted and take off when he wanted. So I had that bug in me from an early age. Now I went off to college, got a degree, went the job route for a couple of years, only to realize I can work for somebody, I can do it, but it gets under my skin. I hate working for somebody else, answering to a boss. So within a couple of years out of college, I was already just thinking, like, what can I do besides a traditional business? Because I was seeing that my boss that ran his own small business didn't have much of a life, and the business consumed his thoughts all the time. And so I was thinking, like, what can I do to be an entrepreneur but go down a different route than I had thought before? So being open to opportunities, a friend sucked me into the network marketing world, and that took on a path of its own for a good 6 years or 5 or 6 years. And it wasn't until about 2008 or 9 when I thought, there's this internet thing. It's really taken off. It was more popular at that time. And people were starting to talk about how they could get leads to build their network marketing business online. So it took me down that rabbit hole, I like to say, the internet marketing rabbit hole. So I went from figuring out, like, how can I get more leads for my network marketing business to, wow, there's this whole other world of making money online that I didn't even know about. And every which way you go, there's a whole nother method that can distract you of, oh, here's another way I can make money online. And so there's a million ways. And so I, as many people do, ran around confused and distracted for a number of years, trying everything but focusing on nothing. And that led to, a serious lesson came out of it, but it led to a lot of frustration and letdown that nothing seemed to work. It wasn't that those things didn't work, but I didn't work at one thing consistently. And so that's how it all kind of started. And then over those years, I started learning that lesson that even though there's all these different opportunities, you need to find a few things and focus on them and just get really good at those. So that's kind of what led me to where I am now.
Okay. Now, you actually work a few different companies. Is that correct?
Yeah. So today, I do some things that are kind of underground, a little bit more in the background. It is a fine balance. I don't like having all my eggs in one basket, but I do at the same time say focus. So you do have to find that balance, focusing on some things that you're good at and narrowing into just a few things that you can do well at based on whatever your skill sets are and your passions are, and do those. So in the background, I do part-time have like a drop shipping business where I sell products on Amazon and eBay, but that's very part-time. I also do I used to do more local consulting, like local small businesses, building websites for them and everything, and that it was time intensive to work with those local clients. So I stopped doing that, but I still have a few clients left over that I manage websites for and such. And then my main thing is really just affiliate marketing, building websites, driving traffic, building email lists, doing different advertising campaigns to market affiliate different offers that pay affiliate commissions, which you're well familiar with and Empower.
Right.
And then all of that's kind of under the big umbrella of my website, BrentWehmeywer.com, or the Live Without Limits blog, where I just like to blog about and help people that have that same entrepreneur bug that I had back in the beginning, but I didn't know what to do at the time to, where to go with it. I like to help those people that are in that beginning stage of, okay, I want to work for myself. I have these ideas. I have these dreams, and I know people make money on the internet, but how the heck do they do that? I like to get people started in the marketing world, teach them the basics of marketing and how they can turn those ideas into a profitable business. And that can turn into a lot of different things. They can go down many different routes based on what their passions are and their skill sets, but I like to be able to kind of be that catalyst that coaches and teaches and gets them going. Maybe it's in affiliate marketing with a program like Empower Network. Maybe it's helping them grow their network marketing business, or maybe it's blogging about a subject that they're passionate about. It could be a number of different things, but that's kind of the big umbrella of what I focus on the most, and then I have kind of other little side underground businesses making money in the background.
Roger that. Adam, do you have a question for Brent?
No, I'm just kind of taking it all in right now. I mean, it's I like the fact that you said you don't put your eggs in one basket. I'm very kind of the same way myself, and I've started Vets on Media a couple years ago with my business partner, and prior to that I was working the day job, if you will, and I've tried some multi-level marketing things in the past, and I was good at some of them, but I didn't really stay focused. So I really like the point that you said, that not having your eggs in one basket, know what you're good at, and working that. And folks, those of you that are listening, really take note on that part right there. It's know what you're good at, or find what you're good at, and then kind of I don't even know how to say it. Really focus on that and build from that. So that's great that you bring that up. So.
And I will say that it takes time to find it for some people. Some people know right away, like, man, I just love this topic. I can talk about it all day long. They can blog about it, podcast, video, everything they can think of. They can get that out there on the web. For me, I just knew that I liked working for myself. I wanted to create freedom, a lifestyle that I get to do what I want to do. And there's a lot of different things I was interested in, but I didn't necessarily know, like, what can I use to build a business out of. So it is okay to be frustrated with, like, well, where do I go? Like, a lot of people are in that place. So just really take some time to, think about what it is that fulfills you. Like, if you could strip away, like, business, money, jobs, if you could just do something that just made you happy to do that thing all the time, what would it be? And it may take some time to dig deeper inside of your subconscious and really figure out what that is. But once you do, that can guide everything you do. You may get involved in several different opportunities, or you may have your business kind of branch in a couple directions. But when you have that guiding purpose, it all seems to flow pretty easily after that. So if you're in that place where you're frustrated, you're like, I just want to make some money, I just want to get out of a job I hate, like, that's okay. Everybody goes through those stages. Don't get frustrated if you see somebody who's, they look like they're on top of the mountain. They've got it all figured out. Everything's easy, because I can guarantee you it's probably not. There's things in their business that every level you get up to, there's a new level of challenges that come with it. So, don't try to compare yourself to others. But yeah, when you have that idea that you kind of, it's maybe, I don't know how to say it, like, you have an idea of what you like, but it's not completely well formed, just keep working with it. Keep trying to do what you can do to build your business, and it'll become more clear over time.
I want to bring up another. I got a quick question for you, Brent. And when you figured out what it was that you wanted to do, and I think a lot of people have that misconception with starting your own business, that they're going to get rich overnight or whatnot. How long did it take, or can you give kind of an idea? Did it take a little while before you really got in and saw the hard work really starting to pay off?
Oh yeah, for sure. Because the marketing your business online kind of industry, or what we do, it takes a lot of different puzzle pieces to fit together to make a complete puzzle. You have to learn. I mean, there's a lot of systems out there that people love to buy into systems that guarantee you that it's just gonna build your business if you just plug into it. Sounds nice. It hits our emotional triggers of wanting to avoid pain and have pleasure of things being easy. But they may work for a little while. But what's ultimately going to work for you the most is working on yourself daily, like reading, listening to audio, working on yourself, and then constantly learning new marketing skills. That can be, how to get traffic, how to get your message in front of people in a good way that fits your personality. That can be audio through podcasts, podcasts, it can be video, it can be blog posts, it can be emailing, whatever the case. It takes a lot of these different factors. Then once you get the traffic, you've got to learn, like, how do I get that to convert into sales? And I've got to have a product. I mean, is it my own product of my own coaching, or is it another company that I recommend the products of? Like, there's a lot of different pieces. So don't be fooled that it's going to take some time. It could take you a few years, but the thing that I like to point at is how long is it going to take you to get your dream lifestyle with the job that you have? If that's going to be never or 20 years from now, then I think 3 or 4 years working hard on your business, your part-time business, really focusing on learning different marketing skills, different business building tactics, it's going to be worth it. It's worth it compared to the option of working a job that I don't care for, that's never going to get me the dream life that I want, for 20 years, 30 years. Some people, if you're just out of college, 40 plus years. So just realize it's going to take time, but I think it's all worth it.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
And I'll add on top of that, good friend of mine, who we've gone down the same path. We kind of came through different systems, different network marketing. We went through affiliate marketing. We were both at Empower. We were just talking about how, that you've heard the analogy often of if 97% of people are going one way, if the salmon are all swimming one way up the stream, go the opposite direction. Be the 3% that goes against the grain. Because if you see the masses of people coming online want the easy push-button system to make them rich or to get them free, it may work for them a little while, but ultimately they're just going to be spinning their wheels going from system to system or from program to program. But if you want to really go against the grain and be the 3%, focus on building yourself, building those skills, the marketing skills, because then once you have those, it can be any business. It can be your own blog, your own website. It can be anything on your own, and you've got that freedom to make money kind of on your own, at your own command, because you're not dependent on any one person or any one system. So I think that's the most important thing to take away from that.
Absolutely. I think one of the most important things that you also said, Brent, was the word consistency. A lot of people don't really understand how important it is not only to do what you need to do today, but to do it tomorrow and do it the day after and day after. It's going to take a while if you're just getting into building up your business and building your brand and building your name. It's going to take a while before you're really going to start seeing some good results. So, for example, I mean, it took me, Brent, you brought me in, it took me almost 2 months before I got my first sale. But once you make one sale, you can make 10 sales. You make 10 sales, you can make 100 sales. It's just a matter of being consistent with your business and with your product, and just maintaining that vision that you have. And that actually brings me to my next question, Brent. Is, I mean, you're making a pretty good lifestyle for yourself and for the missus right now. She's got a really good job. I mean, what at this point is your vision for the future?
Well, I do know, looking back, there was a bit of a transition for me where it went from being all about how much money I could make, and feeling like, because of the pressure of people around me succeeding and putting out like their incomes on the internet and telling you how awesome they're doing, there's kind of like this peer pressure of I need to hustle like all the time to make a lot of money. And you can do that if that's your goal. But for me, it transitioned as after we got married, she got out of school, we had more free time to go enjoy life. I wanted to focus more on having a sustainable business that took fewer hours of work per day that still made me a comfortable living. So I still have big goals to make a lot of money, but with the main goal before that of enjoying the life that we have today. Because, I've seen people in internet marketing who thought, they had all the time in the world to enjoy life, and they just like consumed themselves with building their business. And neglected living life, and something happened to cut that short. And so I think, focus, if you're building your business part-time, focus on just becoming a better person, learning more skill sets in marketing and business building, but don't forget to live life and enjoy life, day to day. Like, it's easy to just get consumed with it. I've fallen victim to that. And I even had sometimes the help of my wife to kind of knock me upside the head and say, hey, you're spending too much time on the computer. Get out and enjoy life. So that's kind of my main goal, is really just have a business that provides enough income that we're debt free and we can travel. We love traveling. We haven't recently because she's just started her job and has to work for a while to build up vacation time. But we'd love, like, once we've got some of that built up, to just take off and see the world. So that's kind of a goal for us.
Outstanding. And it wasn't that long ago where you went to one of the places that's on my list, and that is Dubai. Am I right?
Yeah, that was awesome. That was a once-in-a-lifetime experience there. Went back in September, and it was a pretty short notice. It was a company that I was getting involved with that we were starting kind of a new affiliate marketing project. A bunch of us got together, last-minute notice. There was an event happening in Dubai, and we just, like, 2 weeks' notice, booked flights and went out there for a week. And it was incredible. We got to go to, the Burj Khalifa, the tallest building in the world, and just the amount of money there is ridiculous. Like, if you grew up in a family where you heard people around you, like in your family or maybe school teachers or anybody around you who said, like, money doesn't grow on trees and money's hard to come by, or you have to work hard to make money. That's just a belief that they choose to believe, and it's true for them, but that belief does not have to be true for you if you don't choose to be. Like, money is absolutely everywhere. Like, it's flowing around. Like, even in the town that I live in, tons of construction going on. Like, there's money everywhere. You just have to find a way to give value to the world, and you will reap the rewards of that value that you provide. You just have to find something you're good at that you can contribute to the world, and money will flow your way if you set it up right. So going to Dubai was a perfect example of how, like, we drove for miles through all these skyscrapers, every one of them different, all of them built in, like, the last 10 years, for miles, just tons of skyscrapers, everyone really unique, like you're driving through a museum, art museum of skyscrapers. And it was just incredible. Of course, they also are fascinated and obsessed with building the biggest everything over there, the biggest of all things. And so it was just really cool, a really big eye-opener that if you want something in the world, just go get it, because it's out there and it's free for the taking. Just takes a little work.
Absolutely. So what places do you have on the list for the future?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know if do you have Netflix? Do you
I
watch
do.
much on Netflix? There's a really good documentary series on there called Departures. And it's like these two guys from Canada that they take off for a year to travel around the world. They go to like 20 different countries. That, just watching them gives me so many ideas of more places that I want to go that I don't think I could put it all in like a top 10 list. But I know some of the first places. We went to Costa Rica last summer. That was awesome. We were there for a couple weeks. I recommend, for a short trip that's not too far from the States, take a few-hour flight down to Costa Rica. That's pretty awesome. But we'd love to go to South America, see Chile and Argentina, and really take time to travel down there. Everything we do, we like to take the less touristy route, kind of blend in more, see the real culture. So definitely South America, Australia. I mean, I could just list off the continents, but those would be the two first places, South America and then Australia. See those. But we've also always wanted to go to Thailand. So a lot of places.
Adam, what's on your list?
Wow. I would say I'd like to go back to Ireland, just because it's really green, and I'd like to play golf on some of the golf courses there. He's, Japan, Thailand is one. Australia is definitely one. One that I'm thinking within the next 2 years is going to be a done deal. But I would say Japan and Australia are the two top ones right now. What
Outstanding.
about
It's
you?
nice to
What
know
about you?
that.
What
Well,
about you?
for me, I'm big on history. Also, obviously, all my family's in New England. I love traveling, through the old colonial towns, and I want to go to Salem, go to Boston, obviously. But one of my things is, I want to take a trip and go to like the castles of Europe. Some of the major castles, because even though a lot of them are just broken down and beat down over the years, there's a story behind each one of them, and I love stuff like that. That really gets me going. And you think about the history and everything, and you think about how beautiful that stuff is, but at the same time, the castles played a lot with war, you know, and revolution and whatnot. And I want to go and I want to learn a little bit about the major ones and some of the largest ones in the world. So that's my thing. So that would basically might be my tour of Europe. I did go. I have been to Sydney before. Brent mentioned Australia. I've been to Sydney for about a few days, and most beautiful. I mean, the water's just crystal clear. It's gorgeous. You can dive on the reef. So much to do down there, and through the opportunities that we have, I've met a lot of people from there in the past year, just talking to them online, and I can't wait to go back. It's going to be absolutely gorgeous. But yeah, I want to say do that tour. Go back home. Obviously, my family's always asking me when I'm going to come back home, and not when it's under 7 feet of snow. Uh, so so I don't want any of that, but so I'll probably go back home here during the summertime sometime. I can't wait to go to Nashville next month. I've never been to Nashville. I'm going to be going and staying at the Opryland Resort,
Beautiful
and
place. Love that
that's going to
place.
be gorgeous. You've stayed there before?
I haven't stayed there. I've had dinner there. I've walked through it several times. I've been out there several times. Vets on Media will actually have a studio out there in Nashville later this year. But I had a buddy of mine that was stationed at Fort Campbell, so I used to go see my nephews out there. So it was, but I love Nashville. Awesome, awesome city.
Yeah, I can't wait to go. I'm going to be there for 4 days. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. Actually, 5 days. Excuse me. But yeah, I can't wait to go. That's going to be at the end of April. So we'll have to find somebody else to cover the Diamondbacks, which I already have two awesome individuals in mind, since I won't be covering them full time during that time. But anyway, back to our special guest, Brent. Brent, I'm really going to start to pick your brain here, man, and I want our listeners to really stay focused and take some notes on this. When you're an entrepreneur, it's not so much, always we just roll out of bed and automatically our business just goes wild for us and whatnot. It takes hard work. It takes dedication. What does your normal day consist of when you are earning a living online?
It's a good question. Yeah, like I mentioned before, when I first really got involved with internet marketing a number of years ago, it was rampant with all these push button easy make money overnight systems, and so people really easily got the wrong idea of what it was going to be. And I think the most fulfilling long term business is going to be centered around your passions, the things that you enjoy, instead of just like chasing after the dollar. So I've seen a big transition, a big pendulum swing on the internet the last couple of years of more people being in touch with like just doing what you love and finding a way to make money around that instead of just chasing the dollar. And so what I like to do each day is when I first get up, it took me a while to find the right schedule to be productive and to get a lot done. So what I do now is I get up really early and usually before everybody's awake, so I'm not bombarded by emails and phone calls, and I, for a couple hours, just work on blog posts and emails to my list and different things like that are more productive. They're going to be, and sometimes it's making a video. I usually wait till it's daylight, and I'll make a video. But do those kind of things that I'm not interrupted. When I'm in my kind of creative state, I can get in flow and just write out those blog posts, get that stuff out there early in the morning. And then I will, so I like to kind of eat the frog, the hardest thing of the day, get that out of the way first. Like the thing that's going to make me money, my income producing activities, get that done. Then I can move on to other things, like some of those side businesses that I have, like eBay and Amazon. They don't take a lot of work, just a little bit of daily maintenance. Going through those different businesses, it's a little more mundane, a little less thought that goes into it, but still things that have to be taken care of. Then through the afternoon, I can do things like communications, coaching calls, emails, read a book, do those different things. So that's kind of how I've focused it. And then of course with our business, a lot of times we're doing hangouts and webinars, and those are usually reserved for the nighttime because a lot of people build their business part-time. So a couple nights a week. I like to restrict it, limit it, so that we have, my wife and I have time to, like now that it's getting staying light later, we can go out and hike and go out and see stuff around town. We can go out and enjoy life. So a couple nights a week, do some hangouts and webinars, but most of that schedule for my business is like get up really early, get stuff done, and then less important, less income producing activities later in the day.
Yeah, I'm kind of the opposite, and I'm not a morning person at all. I find that I'm most productive probably sometime between like 6 and midnight. And that's when I get a lot of work done. And not too many people are bugging you about between 10 and midnight. So, I mean, I do. I get a lot of work done. That's usually when I can write my blog. And that reminds me that something that you said, and a lot of entrepreneurs that I talk to, including Adam, is, we all have a blog. We all get out there and we all write. Why do you think that is so important to running a successful online business?
It's a good question. I think overall, you're going to make the most money and have the most successful business in what we're doing long term by building a kind of brand around your name. Let it, not really just a brand. Like, I think that's overused. You don't need to build a brand in the beginning. You just need to go make some money. But as you go, you're going to let people know, kind of put out a message of what you're about, what things you enjoy, what your beliefs are, the things that you want to help people with. Because there's 7 billion people in the world. One thing that people fall into the trap of is trying to attract everybody to them, trying to be like neutral so everybody likes them. It's like, a house that you want to sell. You want to paint the walls like a neutral color so that the most people like it, so it sells quickly. Well, it's not that way with your business. People are afraid to like be themselves, afraid to like really be polar or really show their beliefs because they're afraid they're going to offend some people they're trying to attract into like being customers or sponsoring into their business. And you really just need to be yourself, and you're going, out of 7 billion people in the world, you're going to attract those who are like you, like-minded, who agree with your beliefs or like the message that you're sharing. And so there's no better way than through blog posts, through videos, through emails to your list, through podcasting, all the different avenues we have, all the different platforms that we can get our message out today. There's no one right way, but if you do those things, you're going to get better over time, because when you do that thing every day and create the habit, you may suck at first, your writing may be terrible, maybe nobody would read it. I know I could go back and look at my blog posts from a few years ago on my blog and hardly make it through them. But I leave them there because it's a reminder of anybody can come from the beginning and start where you're at. Even if you think it's terrible, work your way through it and just keep getting better. So doing those daily habits of whatever medium you want to put your message out with, it's a habit that's going to make you a better person. It's going to get your message out there that's going to attract like-minded people to you. And it's really an income-producing activity, because every little piece of content that you get out on the web is just one more place in the spider web that people can find you and get funneled into whatever that is that you're offering. If it's your own products, your own coaching, your own your own things that you offer, or maybe a company that you work with and you want to sign people up in. So it's really multiple reasons, but it is a necessary habit to just find some sort of content that you're really connected with. Like for some people, they'd gouge their eyes out if they had to write every day, but they could just get on a camera, make a quick little 3-minute video, and get tons of people to watch that. So whatever it is that you connect with, just make that habit of doing it daily, even if you think you're bad, and you'll see amazing results a year from now.
Absolutely, man. I definitely agree with that. I think one of the things that you said that really stuck to me is when I first started doing video, I absolutely sucked. And I'm not the best at it now, but I mean, I've got the voice and the face for radio, which is why I work for Adam. But I mean, obviously, you see the mess behind me. That's actually a video that I shot earlier on that I got to edit. It's on sales funnel, how to build a sales funnel and whatnot. And about a year ago, I didn't have a clue what the hell a sales funnel was. So it just takes the time to be able to actually go in and learn your new skill sets and use that to your benefit for your business. And it's not going to be perfect at the beginning at all. I was extremely nervous when I did my first video. I was just looking at a camera and I was nervous as hell. It was just the camera looking at me. I wasn't even talking about standing on stage like in New Orleans, but I took the mic in front of like 3,000 people. I wasn't even on stage yet, and I was nervous. But I got my message out there, and since then I've gotten a little bit better and a little bit better. So like you said, it just takes practice, and eventually you will get better. You'll get a lot better at teaching, at getting your message out there. So absolutely. And one of the things that I would recommend for people is if you're not sure exactly how to get the message out there, YouTube and Google are beautiful things. Get on there and find somebody else that's delivering a similar message or is using the same product or whatnot, and see how they deliver it, and then just go ahead and copy them. There's nothing wrong with being a copycat at all. I'm not saying go ahead and swipe their exact video and just put your name on it, but go out and actually learn these things. We actually have a thing within Empire that people love to do, and Dave Woods King at telling us to do it. He'll send us out an email that works really good for him, and he calls it a swipe copy. And he basically says, make your few adjustments, make it your own, but here you go, you can have this. So one of the recommendations that I would make to you is go out and find a mentor. Go out and find a mentor like Brent Wehmeywer, like Tracy Walker, who will be on our show tomorrow night, like Dave Wood, like Lawrence Tam, anybody else that's out there successful. If you really want to know how to be a great spokesperson, go watch Anthony Robbins. Holy cow. I love Anthony Robbins. Dude. I can't wait to meet the guy in person. But he is one of the best spokesmen or individuals that'll get up in front of the room. He's kind of categorized under being a motivational speaker, but he says he's not a motivational speaker. So I'm still trying to figure that one out because he motivates the hell out of me. But that's what I'm saying. If you're not sure what to do, just go find somebody else that's doing it and just follow them. It's not that difficult. Go ahead, Brent.
Yeah, I was going to say Tony Robbins. It's not every day, but almost every day I listen to some of his audio. If for nothing else, to just subconsciously plant some of what he teaches in my mind, even if I'm like busy doing something else. Yeah, just hearing him, and it's deeper than motivational. It really is. It's how to operate at a peak performance in life, physically, emotionally, mentally, all these different areas. It's more than just motivation. So yeah, if I could recommend you do anything. It'd be a few things. Every day, work on yourself. Read for 30 minutes. Listen to audio for 30 minutes. I know that sounds like a lot if you're really busy. That hour of time invested in yourself is going to pay more dividends than any time you could put into your business. So do that every day, and then each day do some sort of income-producing activity. That'll be different for everybody, but if it's blogging, if it's video, if you're selling products on Amazon, whatever it is, like an hour a day. Like if you're doing this part time, an hour on yourself, an hour on your business at the very bare minimum, and just focus on doing something income producing. Like ask yourself the question, what's the one thing I could do right now that will get me closer to my goal and make life easier in the act of doing it? So it's not going to be scanning through Facebook. It's not going to be like sorting your emails. It's not going to be any of those distractions. It's going to be, what's that one thing I can do today that's going to get me closer to my goals? And if you ask yourself that question over and over, you'll quickly weed out a lot of those things that just aren't necessary, aren't productive in your business. And then, another thought that I had, I forgot what it was you were talking about that triggered the thought, but of all the different skills that you can learn, like a lot of times people will say, what is the most important thing to learn? Like there's traffic, which I think is one of the least important things to learn. Like traffic's easy. Once you have kind of the other stuff figured out, you can get traffic anywhere. A lot of people get consumed with like, where do I get traffic? It's everywhere. But what you really, I think if you could master any one skill inside of the big marketing bubble, it would be persuasion and influence and copywriting. They kind of all go together, but being able to speak or write in a way that gets people to make a decision that really connects to them emotionally. And I don't know, I don't actively like promote Empower now, but I still have the products. I still go through the trainings, and they've updated everything back there for like what used to be like the Costa Rica, the 15K, and the Masters. Now they've updated those with like those recordings from the past events where they had like an extra day on a Monday, and they recorded those, like just hours of training. Really good stuff on persuasion, like hypnotic language, like all that stuff that if you learn, like if you really take the time to master that kind of thing, and you go through those trainings, you'll have to go over it over and over. Like it'll take time to learn it and then apply it, practice it. But if you can get good at that stuff, like everything else will fall into place. Because like I said in the beginning, everything really revolves around working with people, helping people achieve what it is they want. And sometimes it takes, persuasive language and copywriting to get your message in front of people in a way that hits those emotional hot buttons, those trigger points in their life to make them, this is the decision hour. Like everybody wants a better life, but a lot of times it takes you saying the right things to get in front, like to cause enough fear, enough, highlight enough of the pain that they have in life, or show them the pleasure they can have to get them to get out of their seat and make a decision. Like as a marketer, you can just get your message out there, and that's great, but you need to be able to like persuade people to get them to make that decision to make their life better. So really focus, if you spend any time learning, like going through trainings, just really focus on those things that I mentioned. Mm-hmm. Sorry for the rant.
No, that's perfectly fine. That's great advice, man. And I absolutely agree with you as far as the products go, which is why I will be at the VIP at the next event, because I want to actually be there live when they're going over some of that stuff. I mean, it's absolutely insane the amount of information that they go over on the fourth day. And Brent, you've been to the live events before. They go over a massive amount of information just on Friday and Saturday. It's like 10 times better on Sunday, and you're still trying to figure out what the hell they just said on Friday and Saturday. I mean, it's absolutely insane. So I definitely agree with you on that. Let me ask you this, Brent. Okay, so you're an entrepreneur. You work from home. You've got your own routine going on. You're living a pretty decent life. You get to travel. What are some of the favorite things? I would ask you what's your most favorite, but I don't want to have to narrow it down like that. So working for yourself or working for your family, basically, what are some of the top things that you can actually say that you love doing?
Oh, that's good. The top things I love doing besides traveling. I work from home, so I have a great view. We have, like all the local hillsides to look over a golf course that we live on. So great view to look out at. But still, sometimes you get a little stir crazy working from home. So a couple days a week, I'll just go out to Starbucks or the local coffee shop and work from there. You get to interact with people. I get to meet people. Even you work in internet business, it's easy to like get inside the shell of just staring at the computer screen. So I love to just get out and meet new people. We go to church in town, so I love getting out and meeting people, interacting. That kind of usually brightens the day up. So I love good coffee. So just going out to a Starbucks or a coffee shop and just sitting there for the day, I love that. So we live here. I went to K-State. I like to watch K-State sports. I'm not a diehard. I'm not like this crazy fan who, if they lose, my life is ruined for the week. I don't really care that much. But when there's football games, we'll go to those. Basketball games, baseball right now, we'll go to those just for the fun of it. But it's for the entertainment factor, not because it's like my identity is rooted in my team doing well. And then we love just getting outside. I mean, there's a lot of areas around here, like a lake that we could go to in the summer. There's a river we could go kayaking down, and a lot of hills around here to go hiking on. So being outside, I like to be active each day. Racquetball is my sport of choice. I'm an amateur, but it's fun. And so that's kind of me in a nutshell.
Outstanding. Adam, same question, man.
Repeat the question.
Working for yourself, now you've been the co-founder of Vets on Media now going on, it'll be 3 years next month, right?
That's correct.
Wow, I've been with you for 3 years. Holy cow.
Yeah.
Longer than any relationship I've had in a while. Anyway, being able to do that and having the freedom to be able to spend more time with your kids, I mean, what's that like for you?
I'm not sure if I can find the right words for it. I did very successful in corporate America. I worked for a couple of different Fortune 500 companies. I moved up the ranks fairly quickly. I was pretty successful. But my son just turned 12 back in January, and a couple of years ago, I had made the decision. I said, by the time he hits middle school and starts playing sports, I'm going to do it. And as soon as he hit the 6th grade, actually, it was just before his 6th grade. It was, because I've been doing Vets on Media now full time for April 1st will be 2 years. And I hit every home football game last year. In fact, I was the assistant coach on his football team, and I only missed 3 games, and that was because I had a prior engagement, and I was traveling for Vets on Media. It was amazing because I know that if I had the quote unquote day job building somebody else's dream, I never would have got to see my kid play a game. I don't think, especially for me, I'm a softie. I love those of you that are listening, and JD, you've been with Vets on Media for 3 years, but you and I go back a lot further than that. And so my story, and I'm a big softie when I come, and I think you work hard. There's that saying, work hard, play hard, and I think being an entrepreneur, it's not easy. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it, and I think us here, those that are listening, that are entrepreneurs themselves, that are considering to be entrepreneurs, is it scary? Absolutely. I tell everybody I took the leap of faith April 1st, 2013, and people ask how you doing. I was like, I'm still falling, but and that's okay, but because it helps me realize that.
Right on, bro. I think we might have lost you there on your feed. Yeah, I think we did. And that's okay though, because I definitely understand where you're coming from with that. I've had the opportunity to to know you for a while. I've known Brent now for a year and a half, about a year and a half, somewhere around
A couple
there.
of years almost.
Yeah, almost a couple years, man. And I
It
gotta
was
say,
in
Brent,
2013, the summer
I
of
was telling me what I can.
2013.
right, right. Um, Adam, if you can hear us, you're kind of cutting out there, but
Yeah, I got you guys
Brent,
back.
oh, okay, all right. Brent, I definitely want to thank you for coming on the show today. But before we let you go, I want you to give you the opportunity to kind of promote your brand and what's going on with you, and how can somebody get in touch with you if they want to work with you today?
Yeah, definitely, and I'll let Adam continue because I love the direction he was going. One of the last things I heard him say was, "I'm still falling," and it reminds me of how, like I said, you have a tendency to look at these gurus or these people that are super successful, like they're up on a pedestal, up on a mountain, like they've got it all figured out, and just realize like there's days I feel like I'm falling, and try to figure things out. Like be okay with it. Like, all through school and society likes to teach you that it's not okay to fail. Like it's a disaster if you fail in life and you fall short of goals. Like you get timid of telling people or your friends like goals that you have or dreams because they're going to laugh at you or say, oh, you'll never make it. Like all those things we have because of society that are conditioned. Just realize that it's okay to fail. Like if you have an idea, you have a dream, go for it, and realize that as things don't go as planned, it's only feedback, never
Mhm.
failure. That came from Tony Robbins. Always feedback, never failure. So be okay with falling. Like be okay with like I'm going to step out off this ledge and I'm going to go for it and build the plane on the way down. I'm going to figure it out as I go. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, if you want to find out more about me, go to brentwehmeywer.com. If that's hard to spell out, I'm sure you can find a link here somewhere to get over to my site. But I like to call it the Live Without Limits blog. Maybe someday I'll get the domain for that. But anyways, you can find me there. Find me on Facebook. I'm on there a lot. But just connect with me. I'm a real person, and I really just love helping people. Like if you have an idea, if you have a passion, figuring out a profitable way to turn that into a business that gives you kind of a life that you love. So anyways, I appreciate you having me on here. It's been great to listen to both of you, meet you, Adam, and I'll let you continue with where you left off there when you kind of cut out.
No, first off, thanks for coming on the show tonight. It's great, and it was really reassuring and refreshing to hear your story because there are times, kind of going back to what I was saying, I am still falling, and I think it's great. You have to lose that fear of failure, otherwise you're not going to get anywhere. And that's my opinion. And you look at Einstein and some of the people. I didn't find Thomas Edison. I mean, there's some of the people of the past. I didn't find 200 ways to fail at making the light bulb. I found 200 ways that just didn't work. And it's that wasn't the exact quote, but it along that lines. And I kind of felt the same way. I was terrified. I was always one that kind of like, I'm at the edge of the job over here. I'm going to flirt with this idea here. I'm not going to jump in because that's just too scary and that's crazy. And finally, I was just like, you know what? Just we're doing this and jump. And like you said, Brent, I like that analogy, building the plane on the way down, and that's what I'm doing. It's been a wild ride. I love it, and as you guys know, because both of you guys have been successful in business, that it doesn't happen overnight. JD, I'm sure will vouch for this. There's a rumor going around that I'm not the most patient person in the world. I don't know who started that rumor, but it's been true. But it's definitely helped in that aspect of my life, and going through a lot of this stuff, I've learned a lot about myself and some of the things that I'm capable of really doing, and it's helped me not only in the business side of things, but it's helped me grow closer to family members and be a better father to my kids. So again, Brent, thank you so much for coming on the show tonight. I appreciate you
It's been a
being on
pleasure.
here. It's
It's been
great
an
to meet you,
honor
and I
for
look
you having
forward
me.
to talking with you more in the future.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I know you guys love sports, and I'll probably butcher the quote, but one of my my greatest mentors of all time was Jim Rohn. Like early in my network marketing career, I had a CD that was provided by my upline, and I put this thing in the truck. And everywhere I drove, I had a job where I drove around during the day to different job sites, and I would listen to Jim Rohn over and over, so I'd memorize some of his stuff. But one thing he talked about was, on the failure topic, a professional baseball player is wrong. They're wrong 7 out of 10 times. But if you can hit the ball 3 out of 10 times, you're going to make millions per year. It's just a small difference between like hitting 1 out of 10 times to 3 out of 10 times. But if you can be right in your life 3 out of 10 times, you can be extraordinary at what you do. So don't be afraid of failure. It's a part of the process, just like every professional baseball player would know. So hope you like that little sports plug.
Absolutely, man. I always love a good sports quote, man. And Brent, again, thank you so much for coming on the show. Just some final thoughts here. You mentioned, failure as using failure as feedback, and that's exactly what you should do. Don't be afraid of failure. Don't have the fear of failure, and don't have the fear of success. Just go out there and do it. Stop listening to everybody else around you that is not going to put in any effort to improve their life because they don't want to. You're the one that wants to change, so you go out there and you make the change, you make the difference in your life, because in all reality, you're the only person that can do that. All right? Everybody else is going to try and hold you down, and they're going to try and knock you down because you're going after something that they can't see themselves having. So, I mean, I'm a firm believer with kicking the negative people out of your life. I've gone on, especially like on social media and whatnot, people have been negative and they only pop up when they're trying to talk trash about my Patriots, which you can't do right now. So just throwing that out there to all the Dolphins fans that I know. Anyway, and I've actually gone ahead and I've just said, you know what? I don't need you in my life right now. And it's gone worse than that. It's not just, trash talking or whatnot, but there are people out there that will literally start a mission to try and bring you down and knock you off of your ride, this awesome ride that you are creating for yourself and for your family. They will purposely set out and try and destroy that vision of yours, and you got to be strong enough to make it through that. You got to be strong enough to say that, what other people say about me does not define me. You got to be part of that 3% that says, well, if everybody's going that way, you know what? I'm strong enough to go this way. And Tony Robbins does say that. I love that quote. So, again, that's pretty much what I'm going to finish with. Other than that, one of the things that I love about working from home, and I got this idea from one of our members on Empower who actually got up on stage and started to drink when he was on stage. It's actually, who was it? I'm going to have to post it later. But he had this awesome, he had like a $10,000 drink in his hand while he's teaching us stuff, and this stuff was hitting him pretty good. So I've got my drink today. It's not a $10,000 drink. It's in a 2-cent cup, but I love my Jack Daniel's honey, and I drink it straight. I don't mix it with like Coke or anything like that. So the opportunity to be able to actually work from home and have a nice little relaxing drink is pretty cool for me. So, Brent, again, I appreciate you, man. Thank you very much for coming on. Join us tomorrow as we will have the one, the only Miss Tracy Walker will be on the show. She will be live, and she, just like Brent Wehmeywer just did, she will be dropping golden nuggets the entire hour. So do not miss that show. She's one of my favorites. I look up to her just as much as I look up to Brent, just as much as I look up to Adam. She is on top of the world right now in her industry, and I cannot wait to have her on. So, Adam, final thoughts.
Yeah, real quick, everybody, for all the listeners out there, make sure you check out www.vetsonmedia.com. We got new articles going up weekly there, and I want to put out right now, we are looking for more writers. If you are interested, contact me at adam@vetsonmedia.com. vetsonmedia.com. Also, want to thank the sponsors for the Vets on Media Network, Patriot Hills in New York, great organization, nonprofit organization helping out the veteran community in their local area. We have militarypoloshirts.com. They provided the hat that I have on here tonight with our logos. They got some great shirts and stuff. So Wayne out there, militarypoloshirts.com. We also have Military Marketplace. Get some coffee mugs, anything that you'd like, some stuff made up. You can check them out, as well as Black Flag Firearms. And last, certainly not least, our network sponsor, AR500. It's a group here locally, here in the Phoenix area. They do stuff on a national level. They provide a lot of firearm stuff here. We're strong Second Amendment believers here on the network. And we got a firearm show, so it's been good. But we want to thank all the sponsors. Again, that's www.vetsonmedia.com. Brent, thanks again for checking us out and being on the show tonight. JD, that's all I got, brother.
All right, then. In that case, let's listen. Make sure you tune in tomorrow night at the same time, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for the Decision Hour. It's a special Wednesday edition. I'm going to call it Wassom Wednesday, and Wassom is a Bostonian word where you just mix wicked and awesome together, and that is Wassom Wednesday, and Ms. Tracy Walker will be our guest tomorrow night. So thank you very much to Mr. Brent Wehmeywer one more time. Thanks for coming on, buddy. We appreciate you, and make sure you tune in to the Vets on Media Network tomorrow night for a special Wassom Wednesday edition of the Decision Hour. We'll see you tomorrow night. Peace.
What so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. Oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. Young rockets trembling, the bomb bursting in air, gave root through the night, that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land under the brave, you're the home of the brave. Because we are the brave. Yes, we are the brave. We'll fight you in name, the name of the brave. We are the U.S. of A. For those unaware, that flag is still there. It's our future to save. Stand of the brave, the U.S. of A. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave for